You guys have worked with Arduino and you have prior experience using Arduino, then probably you could skip this part of video. But like if you are like just new to Arduino, you don't know what Arduino is and like that, then probably you can watch this part. So let's come to Arduino. What exactly is Arduino? So obviously the thing which you are seeing on the screen is Arduino, and then Arduino is based on Atmel 80 mega series microcontroller. So if you want more information, you can just go and Google it. You get a lot of information over there. And then it is programmed using C language. So you don't exactly use a C language, but then what you got there is an Arduino firmware, which is loaded by default onto the chip over here. So I will tell you what this chip is. But actually, so you got some built-in functions that you can use. So it makes your life easier, trust me. So now, once you look at this board, there are many components over here. So out of those, the things which are important for you at this basic level is one, this power jack, this USB port, this reset button, and this one which I have told is a microcontroller. So and these are the pins. These are the digital pins. So just a minute. Yeah, these are the digital pins. I will be telling you what the digital pin is, and these are the analog pins over here, this one, and these are the power pins. Actually, if you can see here, it's written. This is the 5-volt pin, 3.3 volt ground, and then this is the V in. So what essentially is a 5-volt pin? 5-volt pin actually gives you a power output of 5 volts. And similarly 3.3 volt means it gives the power output of 3.3 volt. Ground is essentially a normal ground. And then V in is a pin through which you can supply the power to the Arduino board. So the difference between 5 volt and the V in is that 5 volt gives you the 5 volt output and V in takes the voltage and runs the Arduino board. And this same thing can also be done using this power jack. So if you want to connect your Arduino board to a power socket or something like that, then you could just plug it into this power jack. And so you, as I said before, you write code in Arduino IDE, which you'll be seeing a bit, and then you need to upload the software, the code, to this Arduino board using this USB port. So you connect a USB wire from this port to your laptop USB port, and then you just see how you'll upload. I'll just tell you in a bit. And then yeah, these are the main things that you have to know about Arduino. Basically, you need to go to the Arduino website to download the Arduino IDE. Basically, go to it from Google, and this would be the first link.
First the official site where you get the Arduino software. So just go and click on it, and you will be getting different versions of the same software. Depending on your OS, just download the suitable file. Just click on any one of these, and you will be redirected to another website.
And yeah, here again you have two options: just download and contribute and download. So if you want to be a good guy, contribute and download, and if you want to be like me, then click just download. So if you click that, the download starts.
Apparently our internet is worse, so just
yeah, so we have to bear with it. Or like I have already got this software, so I'll just
skip this part.
Yeah, I'll just cancel this, just close this download, and then yeah, and if you install it, you will get an icon something like this on your desktop. And if you open this, it usually takes some time to open. This is essentially the Arduino IDE, what you call. So and here, yeah, this, if you see here, this part tells you the name of the sketch. Sketch is essentially a file where you store
write the code and implement it, upload it to the Arduino and run them.
Yeah, and if you see here, this Arduino 1.6.0, so it's essentially the version number. And
this is not the updated version. You will get the updated version in the site, but I just downloaded it from DC, so this is not the new site, new version.
So yeah, now if you have this, yeah, then you're good to go. And here, we have got two functions over here. One is void setup and other is void loop. So if you observe carefully, here you can see the comments. If you are a programmer, you would probably recognize that this is a comment, or if you're not, then learn that this is a comment. Yeah, if you put two slashes over here and write something, it's essentially a comment. This is not a part of your code. So now, what is written over here? Put your setup code here to run once. So anything you write in this function will execute only when the Arduino starts at the first time.
Basically, you will be writing the variables, like you will be initializing your variables, and that part of the code that should be run once. As you can see in the comment, everything that should be run once, you will put it in a void setup. And the other thing you have is void loop.
Yeah, void loop. The name itself tells you that this loops on continuously, and even you can see here, put your main code here to run repeatedly. So essentially, what this does, if you put a piece of code in this function, this continuously executes till you switch off the Arduino. So essentially, the main things will be put in this. Like for now, we need to read the serial data and then do some stuff. We will see that in a second. So basically, yeah, this is a void loop and this is a setup. So if you are a beginner, you can also just go and check out some examples over here. You got a lot of examples which come by default with the IDE. So the basic one which you can see in most of the Arduino tutorials and all those things is this blink. Maybe you heard it also. We have workshops in our campus on Arduino. And again, this thing is a comment. This is another style of commenting. If you are new to programming, you need to know this. And yeah, here this thing actually describes everything about the code. So here you can see the name is blink and the function turns on an LED for on for 1 second and then off for 1 second repeatedly. So you can just go through this and you have this documentation at this side. And for now, what I'll do is I'll just remove this comment so that we have some clarity in what we are seeing it. And now see, if you can see
This is
here.
the main part of the code. This is the main code removing that after removing that comment.
And yeah, here you can see again we have got void setup and void loop. So this is just a standard for every Arduino code. Like sometimes in advanced code you can skip void loop, but setup is just compulsory. And then yeah, here void setup, you can see this void setup from here is filled with this code pin mode 13 comma output. So what this essentially does, so
it assigns the 13th pin and makes it as an output pin.
Yeah, exactly. So if you know programming, you would probably recognize that this is a function which takes in two parameters. One is a pin number and another is a
state
output.
Of the pin.
Yeah, state of the pin.
Whether it is an input pin or an output pin. In this
Yeah.
case, it's an output pin.
So if you want to make it an input pin, for example, you could just write this. Sorry for that. I'm just new to this keyboard. 13 comma
input. You have to type.
Sorry, yeah. This keyboard is just annoying me right now. Yeah, and then you could do this 13 comma input. So what this does is it sets the 13th pin such a state that it accepts the data. Like you could do some button things.
Yeah, you can actually give an input, or if you have set up a microphone, you can input the data.
Yeah, so similarly, even for this is essentially you do the same with analog pin or with the digital pin. So yeah, that's if you want to learn more about these functions, you can just refer the documentation. Actually, the documentation you should refer it because it helps you a lot in developing programs. So and now
just remove that part.
Yeah, we don't need this part for this tutorial, so I'm just removing it. And now if you come here, this is a void loop again. So as I said, this loops on continuously. This each and every statement executes, and when it reaches at the end of this function, and this again loops. Like the first statement starts executing again. So if you see here, you have got a digital write function, and it is taking parameters pin number and its state.
Again, this is a digital environment, so you'll be getting one. You'll be having ones and zeros, but in Arduino you'll be having one as high and zero as low.
Yeah, and one essentially signifies that you are giving an output 5 volt. Arduino is a 5 volt board, so high essentially like it gives you 5 volt from this pin number 13. So this is what digital write does. So you have another function like you have got analog write.
Similarly, you will be having analog read, digital read. Those are for the input sections, but writing in the sense will be giving it to the output, right? So that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, this is what you can do. So if you do this, like you have to define that A naught is a analog pin separately. That's a different thing. So if you do this, this essentially says that analog, you're writing an analog signal. So here you have 256 values,
starting from 0 to 2 and
yeah 0 to 255. So yeah, this is how you do an analog thing, and just forget this for a moment. You don't need this. And yeah, now let's go to the next function. Here you have a delay. Delay 1000 essentially means that you are just stopping the execution of this function for a time interval of 1 second. This 1000 is essentially the count in milliseconds. You have got different functions for delay, like you can even delay for hours and days also.
So what it does is first it will implement the first step, digital write 13 high, and waits for 1000 milliseconds, and after that it will go to the next step. That
Yeah.
is what delay does.
And here if you see it's almost the same as the first one. It's digital write 13 comma, and here it's the difference. From high you have changed it to low. That means you are not giving any signal, like you are essentially setting the output to 0. So you don't get any output. It will be 0 volt. Even you can read here, turn LED off by making the voltage low, and then again delay. So again you are going to wait for 1 second, and then this loop executes again. So this from here the control again goes to here. So this statement again executes, and this runs till you switch off the Arduino. You get bored, and then eventually by seeing this LED blinking on and off, so you eventually switch it off. So then this stops. Until then this keeps on executing. So this is one example.
You will be having several examples. Just before working on the main code, just get familiarized with these examples so that you'll be having
Idea about
yeah
different things.
exactly.